So I have one piece of biscuit here to keep baby Lama quiet in the back. Do you think it'll last?
Nope.
Okay, we'll try and get through this one nice and fast then. So welcome to today's episode of Lama Drives, June 21st, 2020. The shortest day of the year. Now, if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, it's the longest day of the year for sunlight. Down here, we have flipped turned upside down. Shortest day of the year, which does mean the days are going to get longer.
Yay!
Which means, Von,
Yay!
you can take advantage of the new bike you have purchased today.
Yes!
Biscuit time for Max. Hey, buddy. Oh, he's still got half a biscuit there. He's just praying. He was
like,
praying to it. He was like, you keep going, mate. So, Von, new bike day. Tell us about it. What's going on? This was a long time in the making, a long time in the planning.
Yes.
Shed some more light on it here. It's in the back. It's not on the roof.
No, it's not on the roof. No.
What did you go with?
I ended up getting a specialised tarmac. Yes.
Upgrading from a specialised tarmac?
Well,
Someone
you could
loves
say
special-
downgrading.
Well, but look, your current tarmac is 2014. Maxwell?
So the current tarmac is an SL5 and was Durace with a Quark power meter.
Mechanical.
Yes. So
Caliper ropes.
I have changed to a disc brake Hydro Ultegra Di2 tarmac. Just specialised brand, not the S-Works.
Right.
That's where the frame weight difference will be as well. So I think I've weighed them both. They're about the same weight now. So if you think about the savings there with the additional weight of the disc brakes and potentially the battery and stuff with the Di2, then there is that to take into consideration. But this one does not have a power meter, so I will need to purchase an additional power meter.
I might be able to help you out there. I just might be able to help you out. However, it does come with Shimano cranks. Now, Specialized have always used their own 30mm spindle crank set, standard. This is fitted with, I think it's still got the same, but it's fitted with is it Praxis bottom bracket?
Yes it is.
So it now has a 24mm spindle, meaning that any Shimano power meter, here we go, will fit that bike. Left side only. Are you happy with a left side only power meter? Knowing that the numbers from left only are okay.
From what I have seen in the data of these power meters that you speak of, that would work. That
would suffice?
Yes.
Okay, well, we have a few to choose from that I still have for testing purposes. There's a number that I have that I trust. I'm not sure if I have any left onlys that I don't trust. No, I think they're all pretty good. It's when you add the right to it with the issues that come along there. So look, we'll have a run through of those. Actually, and you can be another testing pool for me, so I might just swap the cranks out. Now, you're on 170s at the moment. You're looking at going at 172.5s?
Yeah, in the past I have run 172.5s on my time trial bike. And on that bike I also, at one stage, ran a single-sided stages power meter on there. So, yeah, if you've got one of those, that would be fine. I've used that in the past.
We'll dive into the Lama Lab archives and see what we have.
Yeah, that could be really good. Yep.
Yeah, but you'll be another testing bunny for me to go down the rabbit holes.
That means I get to ride my bike?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And it's a tax deduction for at least one, actually for both of us. Okay, so pedals though. Would you consider power meter pedals? Or do you really like your Shimano SPD SL cleats?
I have not ridden with anything but Shimano cleats.
Okay.
So you would have to prise them off my dead feet to swap me to power meter pedals unless there were no decent crank-based or single-sided power meter to go with that. I did consider whether or not I could swap out my current Quark across, but I think the hassle of changing all the bottom brackets over and bits and pieces is not really worth it.
And it's a few years old. It works well. I think the resale of that Quark on your current bike probably would be more worth than worth more to pass
more than my current bike probably.
Yeah, the power meter is probably the most valuable part of it. It's still a good frame. Hey, look,
the bike's in good nick.
Yeah, absolutely. Would the holy grail for you though be a pedal-based power meter? So easy to install, no mucking around with cranks, with SPD SL cleats. People
Yes.
want that. People
Yeah.
are just
Yeah.
screaming, well, on
So
the
I'm
forums.
surprised Garmin haven't done that.
They have, what people are saying, it's probably the licensing from Shimano or the patent from Shimano.
So can we expect something like that from Shimano, do you think, in the future?
God, I hope so.
Considering that they've got a poor reputation for their crank-based
She knows what's up. She knows what's up.
power meters,
Yeah.
then potentially, and painted on their own cleats, it just makes sense that they should come out with a pedal-based power meter that I can use.
Well, if any company can do it, either Garmin can come and do it because they'll have the ability to buy licensing if required, or Shimano could do it because they own the licensing on it. People are saying it's licensing and the patent. I've not seen anybody link to it. Typically when it's a patent, people link to the patent.
Okay.
I've not seen that yet. Not seen anybody link to it. He's asleep. He's asleep. Oh my God. Do you want to share the biscuit?
I'll save it. We might
Okay,
need it.
I'll save the biscuit for later. Oh, I can't believe he's asleep. Whew. Alrighty.
He must have had fun climbing up and down the stairs at the bike shop.
He was at the bike shop for an hour. He was very, very busy. I think he swept the floor for them with his pants and his top because he was scrolling. It was all good. It was all good. It's amazing how parents will know this, and people who aren't parents yet will soon learn this, that when you have a child, you lose an arm. And you lose the ability to store things in your car. I was trying to get in the car and play like a bike, and wouldn't have it any other way though. He's an absolute gem of a kid, especially when he goes to sleep during Lama drives. Okay, cool. So bike though, I'll throw up a few photos of the bike during our chat here. Don't want to reveal all of the details though. Do you want to do it top to bottom, just a new bike day video? Just to go over the bike?
Yeah.
Given it's brand new and
considering it's like mint.
it is like you
condition
could
right
eat
now.
dinner off the cassettes.
Yeah.
It is
Mint.
perfect at the moment. And they also went through the fit process, so you had your cleats realigned with their tools, and they sort of went the extra mile. Even though you did the cleat visually, the check really wasn't that great. They fixed one of your feet up for that.
Yes, they had this really cool tool I'd never seen before, where you press your shoe into like a grid that held the cleat, and therefore you could see.
Try not to talk with your hands up when you're driving, because we're no doubt going to be pulled up on that by the internet police.
Yes. So this tool was pretty cool though, and it gave you an option to visually see.
Yeah, to measure your current shoes versus your new ones as well, where things were, so changing them over.
Yeah, that's
but the tool only worked for Shimano cleats. They had to have a tool for other cleats. So
it wasn't compatible across shoes.
Cool,
so
cool.
That was awesome. I'd never seen that before.
Yeah, okay, we'll see how that goes out in the road.
Yeah.
Do you need to do your first ride before we talk about the bike? I think we might need to. You'll need to go out and do a ride, so I'll have to babysit and... Sorry, I don't babysit, I'm the dad. I'll have to...
You have to dad.
Dad duty. Yeah. I'm good, I just feed the kid biscuits and he goes to sleep. Okay, cool. Okay, well this week sometime then. This week.
Yeah, we can slot that in this week.
Yeah, sure, cool. Look forward to it. A lot of the things that I'm happy with that is that you've gone through axle, so there's no mix of quick release and through axle bikes for us both. I think the TPI on the rear through axle, let's talk bike nerd now, 1.5 thread, because there's through axle standards, then there's through axle standards, then there's through axle standards.
Okay.
So we're running the same through axles on both of our bikes. Same Groupset, 8070, Shimano, Ultegra. So my charger works for you, yours works for mine.
That's handy.
The upgrades that I've slated to do for Von's bike, and I promised I'll do her, would be the wireless module installation, the climbing shifter. I call it my lazy coffee shop shifter because you can hold a coffee and change gears like that on the ride home. And the rotors. Now you've got a 160 rotor on the front. That means that we can't swap front wheels over because I've got 140s on the front. What are you thinking about the front? We're going to swap that to a 140, given it's hydro, and you've got enough stopping power anyway, or do you want to leave the 160 on?
I'd like to ride both options and then make a decision on that.
Cool.
Because never having run hydro extensively, apart from test rides here and there, I would like to give it a try.
Cool. The first ride, you'll need to bed the brakes in. I don't think they sell them bedded in.
Oh God, no.
I'd suggest, but sometimes, brand new isn't the best. You need to go out and make it, wear it in effectively. Just face the pads off onto the rotors and things. I'd suggest going out to Bunningong and doing a few hard braking intervals downhill to bed the pads in. And then we can have a look at swapping all those over to 140s. It's the same as the TCR. You can just flip the bracket upside down and move the rotor caliper down. And then we swap the rotors over. Center lock rotors, again, compatible with what I've got. So it's nice having dual systems that are very similar. Von's effectively gone and got the next year's model from what I've got, and it's a Specialized rather than a Giant. That's kind of about what it's at. Other things, this saddle, it's a personal thing, personal preference, I guess. You'd be swapping over to your existing saddle. And bars. I think it comes with 142 centers, which felt like driving a bus.
It felt weird to sit on.
Yeah. We can look at swapping those over.
The shoulder width.
We're both fans of alloy bars. Integrated stem bars, combos, for me, not quite there just yet. Bit hard to. That bike was on an angle on the top of that car. It's going full send sideways. There was a bike on top of the car with it. Anyhow, and we're fans of alloy bars. So alloy bars are cheap. What, you're looking at $100, if that, to change alloy bars up. And we have a few sets at home, but you want to put a new set of bars on. So the store will change those out though when they come in with the right size. 38 centimeters, I think you run. Yeah, cool bananas. Looking forward to it. We'll get Von out for a ride. Von will get out for a ride. And then we'll have a chat top to bottom down in the Lama lab or in front of the green screen somewhere.
Or another Lama drives.
Lama drives, who knows? This road's gotten really loud.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Additional follow-ups for this Lama drives. Rotor, power meter, as I discussed last time. Rotor and myself are all on the same page now about a resolution for the issues that I was seeing with the consistency of their power meter. Stay tuned for that. It'll be a few weeks because the rotor is going, the rotor power meter, INSpider, is going back to Rotor for analysis. And then we'll be lining up our testing protocols together independently. So I'll learn what they did for testing. They've obviously learned what I do for testing. We'll see what results we come up with.
Yeah.
And if they find anything, it could be as simple as, that one's got a really wonky something.
Yeah.
We'll see how we go. Anyway, follow-ups on that inbound. Stages bike video on the gearing configuration came out yesterday. That was a bit of fun.
Yeah.
Always hard, and Von saw the struggle that I went through with how do I present gear changes and gearing. I could sit in front of the green screen like I do and just show it up on the screen, or jump down to the Lama lab and show what it's all about. But then I thought, I was talking to you about how do I do multiple camera angles showing me on the bike riding and then changing gears. Me on the bike riding is easy, green screen is behind me. Changing gears, there's no green screen behind that.
Yeah.
So it's going to look a bit off and a little bit weird. Oh, it's the last light of the shortest day. Look at that. It's only 12 p.m. in the afternoon. Kidding, it's 4:54 p.m. Wow, that is... Sunsets are what, about 8:30, 8:45 in summer? Big swing in daylight hours, anyhow. So the stages bike,
some weird lighting.
yeah, the lighting is just going to go a bit weird, but bear with us. So the stages bike video went up. Probably not much of an entertaining video if you're not into a stages bike or how they operate, because it's just simply here are the gearing configurations. I debated whether to go. I'm going to go two ways with that video, but I've gone the safest route in regard to what the bike is, what they've offered first up. Because within my first 15 minutes of riding that bike, I'm like, oh, holy hell, I want it to do this. I had this massive cooking list, fix list, I don't know what you...
Shopping list?
Shopping list. It's late
Change
or
log.
early, I don't know. It was a long night last night because it was the longest night. There we go. Massive list of things I'd like to see them change. I chatted a little bit about them, especially with the jump and step in the gearing of Dream Drive, rather than front ring, rear ring, which does not make any sense when there's no front ring and rear ring virtualized. So Von agreed with that. And a few things with the app. The app was going to sleep. You've got to set your phone to always be awake and never go to sleep. Just a few little things. I'm sure they'll polish off. So rather than, I was going to do a video in 2 halves, as opposed to 3 halves, which wouldn't work out mathematically. I was going to do, here's what they currently have, and here's what I wish it had. But then when they implement all of these, that's not applicable or relevant anymore.
No, it won't be.
It's just me sort of swinging my here's what I want wand, which wouldn't matter if they do implement half of them. So I kept it just straight down the line of what it's all about. Video number 3 is going to be even more fun. That is the Lama lab test, the power data, just the general nuances of using the bike. Somebody sent me a gear shifting hack that I might include in my video 3. It's a bodge. It is a total bodge. But, hey, it improved the experience of someone who owns the bike. And that, for me, regardless if it's a bodge, if it works and it gives them a better experience, I am all for it. Not quite sure I'll be doing it myself. Maybe if I had a 3D printer, I'd hack up something similar. But anyway, stay tuned for that. Part 3. Looking at doing that probably early, midweek, maybe late. It really does depend what pops up. So that's on the cards. New Garmin units. I think the market or the media were flooded with information about the new Garmin units. I'd had them for a few weeks, I think, prior, testing them out, checking out the new features, and preparing my content for the new Edge 1030 Plus and the new Baby Yoda, the 130. No doubt it's louder. Von, you don't like me. I'm turning Garmin units on and off all the time. They always beep. Von knows.
I don't know why you always seem to do it when Max is sleeping.
So Von noticed the new unit was very loud. So the 1030 Plus is a little louder in the beeps. Doesn't have Connect IQ support just yet. That was why I couldn't show the CPU benchmark, which was just a rough indication of the CPU speed and the Connect IQ speed on the unit. I couldn't show that on the unit because Connect IQ isn't supported. And still today, which is only a few days after release, Connect IQ still isn't supported by most of the apps that I use. So I can't install things like the radar vehicle detector. What else do I use? Oof.
Hey, that being said about the Garmin beeps, it's interesting that Garmin, being such a market leader, haven't really changed any of their tones or made it, progressed that at all in their units over time.
So do you want to talk about this now? Do you really want to talk about
beeps?
Okay, let's back up a little bit. Story time with Lama.
Why aren't we having chimes or something like that?
Why aren't we having full stereo audio like we have in other devices worth $1,000 that are on the shelf at the moment? Now, that's my beef on this. I didn't even look into the Australian pricing. The US pricing was on par for the original unit. So the 1030 was $599 US, and the new one was $599 US. In Australia, the older unit was $749, kind of expensive, but that's what it was. The newer unit is $999 Australian dollars, $1,000, $250 up. If you do the conversion with the current exchange rate plus 10% tax, it kind of lines up to $1,000. So I think the older unit was cheaper, but my word, my conclusion on all of this, and I'll get back to why I concluded this in a moment, is that Garmin's manufacturing process is either way too expensive, or they're making an absolute killing on the margins of these things. I'm going with the latter, with a touch of the former. Because for $1,000 here in Australia, we can buy a Samsung Galaxy S10. Now, I'm not a fan of using a phone as a bike computer for a number of reasons. They're typically not rugged, the battery life isn't really that great, they're not built as a sporting device, they don't have Ant Plus support, you've got to use an app that supports sensors, and the Strava app doesn't support sensors. Not a fan. So I'm not going to compare a head unit to a phone one for one. Though videos on YouTube doing that actually get quite a lot of views. So, but for the same money, you're talking about beeps. I'll get to my point. The Samsung S10 Android phone will have great audio, music, video conferencing, you name it, and a microphone, so you can record yourself.
Yeah. The
Garmin unit for the same price, it's got the same kind of beeper that you found in a birthday card in 1985. That's all you get. How bad is that? Why can't they? Now, I'm not saying Garmin have to come out with a musical device that you can play the music, but what I'm saying is they should at least have something that plays your goddamn music or something a little bit, or maybe even speaks your turn-by-turn nav. Sure, you're out in the wind, sure, you're out in the rain,
They've
whatever.
got it on their watches.
Yeah, no, they don't have the speaker that does that on the watches. You have a Bluetooth headphone that does that for support. I don't think they'll ever implement Bluetooth music though on a cycling unit, because using headphones in cycling is not really going to go down one for one. A lot of us do it. They do support it for the Varia radar alerts.
For safety reasons, I understand why they may not do that.
Correct. You've got to be not to encourage things that could be potentially dangerous if misused. Although companies sell knives these days and guns, and often they're misused. I'm not saying that Garmin it's a gun or a knife, but you know what it's all about.
We're talking about audio bleeps, yeah.
We're talking about birthday cards from 1985. Beep, 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 being sold for $1,000. Look, that's just me being silly, but the difference and what we're being conditioned to appreciate as value is just so different. It's so very different.
They're very superior in a lot of other ways. I just find it hilarious that the audio is
when you
so
do the
deficient.
comparison, yeah. Well, you've got the Hammerhead Karoo, which doesn't even have a beeper. I do believe, there's the Karoo 2. We've seen some rumours around that floating. And look, if the Karoo 2 doesn't have a beeper, Hammerhead 2, Hammerhead Karoo, yeah. So that doesn't have a beeper, they've just signed their own death warrant on that new unit anyway. And that's the first thing people are going to ask. They don't care how big the unit is, they don't care how great that screen is. It is an Android device. It's going to have some kind of beeper on it. Anyhow, new Garmin units. Von, I still have a hold of the 1030 Plus.
That would look awesome on my bike.
Would you like a loan to do further testing?
I can do some further testing on it.
Because I'll hold on to that device as the new firmware comes out and I do more feature sets, upgrades, and changelog reviews. I love a good... Who doesn't love a good changelog? Von, do you love a good changelog?
I love seeing new features of things that I've already bought.
There we go. It's funny, isn't it? Because for me, if you look at the text of a changelog, it's the most boring ass thing you'll ever see. It's just a nerd list of things, but I absolutely love going through. It's like, what's on my Christmas list? Here's the present list that they've been delivered. I love it. Most of the time it's boring stuff. Bug fixes and product enhancements or stability enhancements, they're boring. So anyhow, I love a good changelog. So there'll be obviously a few firmware updates coming out for those. Again, Von is my testing guinea pig on that. Next up on my list, VeloKicks shoes, just to follow up on those shoes. Unboxed those and put the cleats on them the other day. Comfy. No wear in that I've had with older shoes. They're just comfy. That's my list done for today.
I noticed that it had a vent halfway down the foot. Something that I haven't seen in other shoes before. Yeah, underneath in the sole. Cool. So normally you see a vent up around the toes, which it has, and then there's one further down below the cleat as well. So I was very interested to see that. Had you noticed any difference in ventilation? No,
I don't get hot foot, and I've slapped those inner soles on top of those vents anyway. Okay. They may be water drainage.
Could be.
I haven't I have that one raining ride that I went out for.
The first one.
The first ride outdoors actually, no, it was the second ride. The first one was nice and sunny. The second one was when the power meter was reading inconsistent for me, and then it started bucketing down rain, and then I got a flat tyre. It wasn't my day, but that's part and parcel. A crap ride makes a good ride or a good day so much more better. Just like a power meter review. A crap power meter review makes the good ones even better because I'll call out the crap, or I'll just explain, or try to, I was going to explain the crappiness. No, explain what I was encountering. And if I'm not explaining that, it's a good power meter. Happy days. That's the term. What else is going on, Von? That's me done. Our topic list is done. It's a short one, but last time I said it was a short one, we went for another 35 minutes. Yeah.
The only other thing that popped up in my mind was that you said that the restrictions around cycling in Australia have changed.
Our cycling competition was coming back the start of next month, so that was in about 2 weeks' time.
Yeah.
I think that was because they were classifying our sporting events as non-contact. I believe cycling or group cycling, this is my interpretation of what I've read, could be wrong, they now consider it contact sport. Now,
game on.
Elbows out, it's criterium hip checks, is it? And which means we're under a different set of rules, and which means cycling isn't coming back anytime soon.
Okay. Yeah, in Victoria, Australia.
Yeah, up in Darwin, they're racing. Another race today up in Darwin, but yeah, we'll get there. I think like with most sporting codes, they're writing the year off. A lot of the local football and netball leagues around here, AFL football in country Victoria, are just saying, look, if we have 6 weeks of competition, it's not enough. All the precautions that need to be taken are just too much. Call the season off. Didn't happen. We'll come back next year. we'll see how things go. So timelines, and here in Victoria, the state, our restrictions are becoming a little bit more strict again in exactly 7 hours' time. So midnight tonight, they're taking another step or two back.
Yeah,
it was
more
going to
restrictive, yeah.
It was going to be a step forward, they're stepping back. Is how it is.
I'd prefer to be healthy.
Yeah, look, it's health and safety above all else. As for the politics of that, the internet has gone standard internet. Anyway, but I hope everyone else is safe and enjoying their riding wherever they are. Simon Schofield of the Zwiftcast has been out in Girona.
Wow.
You should see the sunshine. So we're jealous, just because it's the longest day of the year, obviously, up everywhere else in the world. We're watching you guys out riding in the sunshine and everything. Down here in the south of the equator, it's the other way around. Yeah, Max
horrible.
is...
That's me, being sad.
Oh. I've got dad ears now every time I hear it. Every time Von plays a video of other kids or something that the mothers group send around, I'm just like, freaks me out. Anyhow, what else in regards to bikes? Lachlan Morton's Everesting attempt that was disallowed the other day. So Lachlan Morton went and raced an Aussie rider for Education First, EF.
Yeah.
He's a climber, skinny little dude.
Yep.
Known for their outback riding. What was it called? Their adventures across Australia, and like when they went to that outbacking with his brother. Lachlan and Angus did I can't think of it. Let us know in the comments below. You know what I mean? It's across there.
I've got the tip of my tongue.
Yeah, anyhow, fantastic movies. If you haven't seen those, look them up on either YouTube, maybe Vimeo or somewhere. Cycling Tips will definitely have it. Anyhow, Lachlan Morton went out and did an Everesting the other week, because now Everesting is about the fastest time, because what are the pros going to do during lockdown? Go out and do Everesting very, very fast. Disallowed because of the elevation, or the incorrect elevation, didn't complete it enough. His head unit never said the right number anyway. I think there was an excuse of, it's elevation lag, which is something I've never heard of before. Elevation lag, or...
That means it still has to come, though.
Yeah, the number is the number, recorded in the fit file. The number is the number. Whether that's the Strava fix or whatever they did to that, I'm not sure. Anyway, he didn't do the required distance. Made for a good story, anyhow. Made the news that they had to disallow the record. And just as everybody thought, and in true Aussie style, hold my beer, he went and did it again.
Okay, that's actually good. That's actually good.
Faster.
I didn't know.
Oh, you haven't seen the news?
No.
Okay,
that's a genuine
He did it again. He did it faster by, I think it was a few minutes faster, or it wasn't too far off, and he did an extra lap.
Yeah, to make sure.
Verified by professionals and everything.
Yeah.
What an absolute champion. That is, I thought,
for anyone that's had a big day in the saddle, to go and repeat it.
7.5 hours, I think, 7 hours 35, 7 hours 40, I think, all up. I'm not quite sure. But that's a one-day classic. That's not just a stage of the tour. Stages of the tour are, 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours for the big days. There may be 1 or 2 7-hour days. I don't think there's many. Anyhow,
well done.
So it goes to show the kind of training that's still happening with the pros, especially Lachie Morton, obviously. But how Aussie is that? Or it doesn't need to be Aussie, but we claim him as ours. He's an Aussie. Went out there and did it.
That's awesome.
So,
because I would be of the hard line to say, if your head unit does not show the vert,
we had a big argument about this,
then you should not be allowed to claim it.
So the misinterpretation of our discussion at home was, I said, well, if the elevation data says that you've got to climb the hill 43 times and you do 43 times, then you've obviously Everested. And Von was saying, well, if your head unit doesn't register the correct elevation, even though it might be, then no, you haven't Everested. But I was saying, well, that's an equipment failure, not a human failure, because he did rise to the occasion. Oh, dad jokes. Good, he's all good. We came to an understanding that I was correct and Von was being too harsh.
And that Lachie should go do it again.
And then he should go do it again. That's anyway. That's a good story. And I do like the fact that, and I might have mentioned this before, but a lot of people, most people I talk about cycling now, how things are going. And I'm like, yeah, really good for like the channel and people riding indoors and things, and people are finding Zwift and still riding bikes outdoors. But for me, it's the triangle of cycling, which is the pro cycling at the top and the mums and dads and kids on the bikes down here. Yeah. Pro cycling at the moment doesn't exist. The mums and dads and the kids' bikes are going crazy. Everyone's out riding bikes, which is great to see. So cycling is turned upside down. There's a lot of growth here, zero growth at the top. However, at the top where there is no growth, rather than the pros just going, you know what, I'll hang it up for the year and we'll come back next year. Riders like Lachlan Morton are out there doing that and riding events, and just would, obviously the effort required for that would be one day classics plus. You know, that's
yeah,
it's fair effort. So once again, good exposure for the sponsors, good drama, good for the news media, good for the memes. Do we talk about Do we talk about due diligence and the meme sites being correct around the Green Edge Mitchelton-Scott thing that happened the last couple of weeks? So
as soon
here
as
we
you
go.
told me
Here
the
we go.
name,
Manuela Fundación, I don't even think about how.
Yeah, I mean, I understand I don't know all the brands in the world.
But hang on, one sec. So Mitchelton-Scott announced a passover of the team to a Spanish entity.
Yeah.
With a pink kit, pink and black. It was really weird. It was like a Mitchelton-Scott. So what do they call themselves now? Mitchelton-Scott? No, that it is. Bloody hell! It's been Green Edge, Mitchelton-Scott, Bike Exchange, Scott. Can't even think at the moment.
I'm driving.
People know what it is. The Aussie team. Pretty much, like Jerry Ryan was like, yeah, no, we're done deal. See you later. It's going off to the Spanish people. Everyone's got on the keyboards. Who the hell are these people? We don't know who they are.
Never heard of them.
The internet did the due diligence, found out they were dodgy, and then Jerry Ryan went, oh no, sorry, no, deal's off. And everyone's like, yeah, Jerry Ryan, he really supports the team. Hold up a minute. Hold up. Jerry Ryan just handballed the team. He's happy to get rid of it. Did everyone lose that in a celebration that he then brought it back?
Or that it
fell
through?
Oh, it fell through because they were dodgy and everyone was going to lose anyhow. I'm sceptical of where things were heading with that.
Yeah.
I'm a little worried about our beloved Green Edge team, aka the Australian retirement plan for most of our old pros when it first was invented. However, it was, I mean, let's not be right. That has provided some amazing memories over the years. I think that team is on shakier ground than Pararuba cobbles, which is not nice. But when your team owner like dishes the team off and like, I'm done. Oh, hang on, I'm back because people didn't like that. Yeah, nah. What's he going to do next week? He's pulled a shifty. Although, having said that, I can't discredit the millions and millions and millions of dollars that he's put into Australian cycling over the years and continues to. I believe they're going to continue on for next year as well.
Okay. So that's the thing, though.
But the internet did the due diligence. Where was their due diligence? Could they not use Google?
Well,
the meme site, the Instagram meme accounts that we were talking about in last Lama Drives did the due diligence and put up a few of the funnies about it that were true. And then after it came back, one of the memes, I think it was Cat3 memes, put up yeah, we called it.
Perfect.
Anyhow, we're losing light. We'll leave it there. Vaughn, anything else to bring up in today's Lama Drives? Given it's new bike day.
New bike day. Hold my beer. I'm out for a ride.
Are you going to be Everesting? No, we won't even go there.
No.
Not enough sunlight to Everest today.
No.
That's all good. We might Mount Warrenheapen. It's only about 60 metres elevation. That's doable.
Oh, no. I'll go for Buninyong. It's got less potholes.
Oh, actually, around, that's where they hold the Australian Nationals. 2 weeks prior to the Nationals every year, the road is filled with, they fill all the potholes and fix it all up, so can't come around soon enough. All right, Maxie, thanks for coming along, mate. He's out. Happy days. Shh. See you next time. Thanks, Vaughn. Bye.
It's epic sunset, actually.